ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
We're winding down the second night of the 2020 presidential election. The leads for both candidates in each state narrowing every couple of hours. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. This comes as protests erupt around the country in swing states and even right here in San Diego. Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony PURA has the battle coming down to 5 key states. Anthony.
Steve, Kimberly, we are waiting on Arizona and Georgia to update its election results tonight. Still no word from either of those states, but let's take a look at that election map right now. You can see this is how things stand. A lot of focus right now on Arizona. 11 electoral votes up for grabs there. This is where it stands right now with Joe Biden having a narrow lead in Arizona by about 79,000 votes over Donald Trump. Now, we talked about those 11 electoral votes. They could be key for Joe Biden, and here's why. He has 253 electoral votes right now. The magic number to win the presidency is 270 votes. If he can secure Arizona with those 11 electoral votes, it moves him over to 264, and from there, he has an easier path to the White House. Getting any of these swing states up for grabs right now, whether it's Nevada, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, or Georgia, any one of those, if he can secure Arizona, would put him over that 270 electoral vote threshold. Now, let's talk about Georgia because we were expecting some updates from that state tonight, but right now Donald Trump has a lead over Joe Biden there by about 29,000 votes. Now, Joe Biden did speak about this earlier today, saying he has not declared victory yet, but he is very confident about his path to the White House.
It's clear that we're winning enough states to reach 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency. I'm not here to declare that we've won, but I am here to report when the count is finished, we believe we will be the winners.
Now, President Trump hasn't spoken in person today, but he has been on Twitter. This has been one of his latest tweets talking about getting access to some of the counting locations in swing states. He says our lawyers have asked for meaningful access, but what good does that do? The damage has already been done to the integrity of our system and to the presidential election itself. That's what he says, but there has been nothing to suggest any damage to the presidential election or the system. And when he talks about those meaningful access, that's an issue that he's raised in some of these swing states. He has, at this point, filed some lawsuits in some of these swing states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia. He's also asked for a recount in Wisconsin, where it is very close, and we are going to get into some of those issues later in the show. We're going to talk about some of those lawsuits. We're going to toss it back to you guys.
And that has been the scene all night outside the Maricopa County Recorder's Office in Phoenix, Arizona. The large crowd of pro-Trump protesters gathered, demanding poll workers keep counting the votes after alleging that voting issues contributed to Biden's current lead in that state, although there is no evidence of that. Poll workers inside are still counting those remaining votes. Now, people in Detroit, they're also tried to get inside the TFC Center to challenge the votes being counted there. That was not allowed due to capacity. ABC News has projected that Joe Biden has won Michigan. Tonight in Philadelphia, people took to the streets with a sign reading "Count every vote." And here at home in San Diego, San Diegans marched downtown in support of Black Lives and Brown Lives Matter. This is video from our media partners at KPBS. And we want to note the rally was not related to the election.
Looking at the race for San Diego Mayor, Assemblymember Todd Gloria currently leads Councilmember Barbara Bree by about 60,000 votes. But there are still hundreds of thousands of votes to process. No winner has been declared at this hour. ABC 10 News caught up with both candidates today. Speaking outside his campaign headquarters, Gloria described his goals for his first 60 days in office if elected.
We're going to find ourselves in an unprecedented time, dealing with a public health pandemic, an economic recession, a host of crises all at once. And so my first focus is going to be on assembling the best team of professionals that I can find to help me govern the city, an administration that's as diverse as the city we're seeking to lead, and to make sure that we're collaborating with the city council so that we're not at odds.
Bree declined an interview today, but her team sent us a statement saying, "We know from our experience in the primary when we were way behind on election night that it's not over until it's over, and there are still a lot of ballots to count, so I will reserve judgment while the remaining ballots are counted."
No matter who wins, San Diego's mayor will flip from Republican to Democrat. And Democrats are also poised to secure control of two of the most powerful agencies in the city and the county. Democrats will now have an 8-to-1 advantage on the city council, and Democrats are on track to flip 2 seats on the county board of supervisors, giving them a 3-to-2 advantage after years of Republican control. That could change how the county addresses key issues such as the environment, public health, and housing. The new city council will be sworn in next month. The new board of supervisors will take over in January.
It appears Darrell ISSA is well positioned to be the next representative from the 50th district. He is leading Amar CAMPA-NAJJAR by just under 11,000 votes. This is the seat formerly held by Duncan Hunter, who resigned. We should note there are still 370,000 votes left to be processed in the county, but only a fraction of those are from the 50th district. The numbers will be updated tomorrow at 5 p.m.
The companies such as Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash are getting their wish. California voters passed Prop 22, which exempts the companies from the law requiring them to classify their drivers as employees instead of contractors. The app-based companies spent more than $200 million to get Prop 22 on the ballot, making it the costliest measure in California history.
And turning now to the coronavirus, San Diego County could be just 1 week away from dropping to the dreaded purple tier. Today, new numbers show our case rate is already in the purple. ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo explains how for a week we were able to continue without restrictions.
Right now, the county is still in the red tier, even though the new numbers rank us in the purple tier. That's because moving up or down in that tiered system doesn't happen until you've been in the same tier for 14 days in a row.
Unfortunately, we're not looking good in our efforts to remain in the red tier.
This was not the news San Diego County wanted to hear. By this time next week, the county could be back in the purple, most restrictive tier.
It would take a significant change in trajectory, given everything that we've been witnessing over the course of the last month in order for us to avoid that.
For weeks, county officials had been warning that the case rates were going up. The county's testing efforts had adjusted the rate to keep San Diego in red. Wednesday, the unadjusted case rate was 8.7. Adjusted was 7.4. To stay in red, the adjusted number should be below 7.
But the truth is that people are tired of this pandemic, and unfortunately, they're letting down their guard. They're not wearing their masks. They're not maintaining the social distancing.
Going back into purple would mean all non-essential businesses have to move back outside, including gyms, restaurants, and places of worship.
Whether we get placed in that purple tier depends on each and every one of us.
Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Here are the latest numbers. The county reported 404 new cases today, bringing our total to just over 58,000. There were also 3 more deaths, bringing that total to 904.
Early release could be coming to the man convicted of killing 4 people after he drove off the Coronado Bridge and then crashed into Chicano Park below. Richard Cipollio was convicted of 4 counts of vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated and 1 count of DUI causing injury. In May of 2019, he was sentenced to 9 years, 8 months in prison, but he is set to be released Friday for good behavior and the state's policy on the release amid COVID-19.
He has not even done 25% of that sentence. And now he's being released without accomplishing any sort of rehabilitation programs, without even admitting that he was speeding or impaired that day. So he has not even owned up to his terrible decisions that killed those people.
The district attorney's office is against that early release. If out early, Sapolio will have served 2 years and 10 months of his sentence.
A missing firefighter has been found dead in Mexico. It's a story ABC 10 News has been following for weeks. Investigators suspected that LA firefighter Frank Aguilar was the victim of a violent kidnapping. The 48-year-old has not been seen since visiting his condominium near Rosarito August 20th. Mexican authorities have arrested 2 people on suspicion of kidnapping, and the victim's family tells ABC 10 News the couple was found with Aguilar's bank cards, and they say the female suspect may have been dating their father.
2 men have also been arrested for a fire that destroyed a La Mesa Chase bank during rioting last May. The FBI arrested 19-year-old Alexander King and 33-year-old Ricky Cooper on Monday. Both were also charged with looting. In May, demonstrators marched through La Mesa to protest the arrest of an African-American man caught on camera. Later that night, the protest turned violent and people set several fires as well as damaging and looting several businesses.